Okay, really quick, I'm going to tell you about what happened to me yesterday on my way to work. I'm driving to work, and there's a traffic jam on the interstate when I need to get on. So I have to back up and go the way that I came to take another way, and I'm going to be late for work. And I hate being late for anything, even if it's somewhere that I don't want to go. So I've called work, and I've told them I'm going to be late. And on my way to work, I figure, well, I may as well make being late worth my while and stop and get something to eat. So I'm going to go to Burger King, because I haven't been to Burger King in a long time. Because I've been on this diet that's just going so well. Not really, but I still haven't been to Burger King in a long time. And so I'm driving to Burger King, and it's a 3-lane boulevard, and on the far right-hand lane there's a bicyclist. And I fucking hate bicyclists, especially on this road, because there's a nice, giant, beautiful bike path that he could be riding on, but instead he's riding in the road. And so I pull over in the middle lane to get around him. And then as I see that I'm around him, I pull back over into the right-hand lane. And I get to the red light. And it's a 4-way stop. And I get to go right on red, which really thrills me. Because it's like I am winning at the space-time continuum. And as I'm turning right, I decide that I'm going crazy because I think I hear this weird noise and see something out of the corner of my eye. And at first I think that something has fallen in my car, but then I realize my car is clean, so it wasn't anything in my car. And sometimes I'll just be walking around the house and think that I see something out of the corner of my eye, but nothing is there. So I decided I was just having one of those crazy moments in my car and just put it out of my mind so I wouldn't think about it. So I get my food and I eat, and I'm getting ready to drive out of the parking lot. I get out of the parking lot, I'm waiting at the light, and I've got this cup full of ice in my car now that I want to pour out. Because I know if I leave it in my car all day long, the bottle will melt out and leave a big mess. And I noticed at the intersection there's a cop talking to the bicyclist. I'm thinking, good, maybe that asshole's getting a ticket for not wearing a helmet or something. So I crack my door open because I figure the cop is busy. Crack my door open, pour the ice out, and about 15 seconds later, here comes the cop. And I roll down my window, getting ready to get a ticket, for littering. And he asked me instead if I ran over a bicyclist this morning and kept on driving. And I'm like, I just start to laugh because I'm thinking he's joking. This is how he's going to segue into giving me the ticket or something for littering. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And he's like, that gentleman says that that someone ran into him and just kept on driving, hit and run. I'm like, no, it wasn't me. And so he yells back at the guy, was it a man or a woman? And the guy's like, I couldn't tell. And at this point, I roll down my window so I can look at the cop better. And then the fucking asshole cyclist sees me and he's like, oh, it was a woman. And I'm driving a silver car, and he said it was either a gray or a silver car. And so since I'm now the perp, they have me back up into the bank parking lot that's right there. And I sit there for about 15 minutes or so, not calling Sweetie because I want this all to end without having to call him, because I don't want to have to admit to him that I went to Burger King, because then he's going to chew my ass out for going to Burger King. But after about 15 minutes, I'm thinking I'm fixing to fucking go to jail or something, because there's 6 cops are there now. People are walking by like I just tried to rob the bank or something. And Sweetie gets there, and all the cops, all 6 of them at separate times, have come up to me and asked me, so what happened? And I tell them the same thing, nothing. I don't know what this dude is talking about. And the cops I've all looked at my car, and there's the dust on my car hasn't been disrupted by a body or, mangling a bicycle or anything. And the bicyclist is loading his crumpled up bike into a car that someone has, I guess, coming to pick him up or whatever. And one of the cops walks over and asks him, exactly what part of the car did she hit you with? And now the fucking truth comes out. And the cyclist says, well, I didn't make contact with the car. And all 6 cops stop what they're doing, writing in their notebooks and bullshit, because here they've been dealing with this crackhead for 45 minutes when they could have been chasing pedophiles or eating donuts or whatever it is cops like to do early in the morning. And one of them looks at him and says, you didn't make contact with the car? It's like, no, but she cut me off and made me wreck my bike. And the cop says, so she was stopped at the red light, going right on red, and she pulled in front of you and cut you off. And the bicyclist says, yeah, that's what happened. The cop says, so you had to stop really hard, and that's when you wrecked your bike. And the bicyclist says, yeah, she cut me off and I had to stop really hard, and I flew over my handlebars and wrecked my bike, and it's ruined. And at this point, the cops look at me, and one of them says that I can go because no crime has been committed. And Sweetie stays. I leave. Sweetie stays to talk to them because he'll freaking talk to anybody. And I guess they explained to Mr. Cyclist, I'm allowed to go right on red, but he's not allowed to run a red light, period, to go straight through. He has to obey the rules of the road, so, it's his own damn fault. So I go on to work, and it hits me about 2 hours later that when I was turning in and had my crazy spastic moment where I'm seeing who knows the fuck what out of the corner of my eye and hearing imaginary things in my head, that was really that motherfucker flying over his handlebars and hitting the ground behind me. I hope he's traumatized. I hope that when he gets on his bicycle from now on, that he stops and he walks that bitch through the intersections like you're supposed to. And now I gotta go because Stinky Dog wants some love because I'm not paying attention to her. She's so desolate. No one loves her.